it again. Every time Nigeria is ringing bell. If I look on news, it is bell. If I look social media, it is problem. Eh? When I should be drinking coffee, they will make me to come online. They don't want to have me to rest. But you know what? You know what? The spirit in me, the Biafra spirit in me, I said, when I told you, if Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is looking for 100 people, I promise that I have 50 in me. You have not seen anything. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. But, you know, as my own oru, I am a rocha. You understand? Till Biafra come. But today you are going to receive sense. The crypto, Nigeria crypto. As they are crippling your economy, they close border. They close the border. ESN came out automatically, you know, weaponized. It shocked them. It shocked them. They said, this border no work. Oh. This close of border no work. Oh. Now, how do we stop the funding now of this Sunday or Igbo? How do we stop the contribution? Let us stop the crypto. Because they were following Nigerians, southern Nigerians. Use crypto. We should open crypto. Crypto. We use crypto. Don't use the Western Union. Don't use this. They say, so these people are doing crypto. Okay, let us slash them. Bah! They are not considering the economic impact of crypto. No. They are not considering how much the crypto is bringing to Nigeria economy. Their agenda is not to make Nigeria progress. No. They have a better agenda. Now you get the point. Now you get the point. My only problem is that why is it that you must wait? Was Thomas born in Nigeria? Is Thomas a Nigerian? Is Thomas in the Bible in Nigeria? Are you a lineage of Thomas? Are you a lineage of Thomas? All of you have Thomas blood in your vein. How did you get Thomas blood in your vein? That it must happen to you first before you understand. We hear more. In Anubia, you hear more kind of man. Woo! When we are telling you, you don't know, we are telling you, even we are not perfect, but everything we have said, everything we open this mouth to say, if it don't happen today, it will happen tomorrow. I want you to go from the beginning of this struggle, from the beginning. In fact, even the one that we are not sure of, once God asks us to say it, we will say it and God will do it. Hey! Woo! I said, did you see the prayer? May God harden the heart of the leaders in Nigeria so that we will tell them, the world may know that Obi is no longer a boy. I remember when we used to read the history of the Greeks, the Greek gods. I don't know, of course you don't read all those things in Africa. The history of the Greek gods. Medusas. Medusa, they say Medusa is she look at when you look at Medusa, you turn into she would dry you and you become stone. Medusa have snake, you know, her hair. Medusa's hair is snake.
Iwe were iwe gị n'ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị konye ka ọ gaa ubi ga arụ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị ndị n'iyi okwu ebepụ ya isi anyị pụta anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọ bụ anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha aga n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri ọya nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra ebe ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm jiri ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwuo ekosịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwuo ekwasịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị agaghị isi na-ebu ndị iro anyị n'anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza akọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu akọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke akọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom akọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizoba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro dị na anyị bụ ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ajọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe tetu ozu ọ bụ ọkọwa mgbe emilere Goliath Chineke nna nke igwe ruo ememiri Fero site otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị ga-ebi ka o wee taa akọkọ igiri ọtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụ nwa bụ ekegere n'igwe n'ụwa onye ọbụla kere gị n'oge mmalite n'oge ọgwụgwụ kama anyị nwe anyị gwa anọkpa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama ma akọ na okwu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe na-ekebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu nke abịa ma I have another caller on the line. This caller can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Oh, my name is Bright Daniel. I'm calling you from New York.
Bright Daniel. It's a very beautiful name.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question goes like this. Is there in any way, this is just like a reassurance, because our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu, whom people were really hoping on, that when he will come back, that he will bring back Biafra.
Yes.
But lo and behold, he came back, and people lured him to Nigeria.
Yes.
People lured him to being, because to me, I still believe that Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu has not been buried. Because when I see them covering his coffin with Nigerian flag, I feel so bad. So my question to you is this. Is there in any way that you will be ever lured into agreeing to anything Nigerian? That's number one question.
No, hold on to your questions, because we are going to have a conversation. You raised an issue that I've been expecting people to raise for a long time. There's sometimes maybe we forget, or when we call, we become over exuberant and we forget. You have raised, keep your other questions, don't forget them, please. Let me answer this one you've just raised. Our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu, was in Ivory Coast. Even as a child, I was hoping, the stories my father used to tell me, I felt that one day this Messiah is going to come, excuse me, from Ivory Coast and save everybody. That was what I used to think as a child. I used to think that Ojukwu will come back one day and all of us will be saved, right? It didn't happen that way. And I will tell you what happened. It is exactly what they have tried to do to me. Exactly the same thing.
I had meeting with governors and with some elders. They said you must renounce. That's the way you do it. You do this, you do that, you do that. You contest, you float political party. You have the followership. People will vote you in. Maybe you can become a senator, or maybe you have your state governor. You know the same rubbish. And I said no. They asked me why am I saying no? Why do I keep saying? I said to them because the man that I revere and respect, Dame Odumegwu Ojukwu, you promised him the same thing. He came back. He was then and still till now the most popular man in the whole of the Zoo political space in Nigeria. He came back in Nnewi. He lost election to a non-entity. Senatorial election, he contested and he failed. They rigged him out. I know those who were instrumental in rigging out Ojukwu. So the same thing they're asking us to do now, IPOB, they asked our leader to do, Ojukwu. He did it and they rubbished him, they messed him up. You know what the Fulani said after that? They said, oh, look at the man you call your icon. He's your leader, he's your general, he led you in war. Look at him, ordinary Nnewi senatorial district, he couldn't win. He failed to a man called on Woody. Go and look at it anywhere. So that you see, I am a student of history. I allow myself to be guided by history, what has happened in the past. But when they call BBC to talk about their rubbish Igbo presidents for that college, they never remind them that our leader came back, they lured him into zoo politics. That was why I said no to zoo politics. But you know one thing our people are very good at? Once they give you advice that is wrong and you say no, they'll go and say, oh, he doesn't listen to people. He doesn't want to hear he doesn't listen to advice. Whenever they're saying somebody doesn't listen to advice, it's because that person has failed to compromise. These are the things I want our people, our hardcore Biafrans to understand, because they are the ones that will lead us to freedom, not all the flavors by the side. It is the hardcore that will lead us to freedom, not the idiots by the side. Do you understand? They have given me everything and I said no. They came to DSS to give me, I said no. They came to prison, I said no. They came to my house, I said no. They called me governor's meeting, I said no, I don't want anything. All I want is freedom. All I want is Biafra. Why do you think I had issues with Chifumi? Why do you think I had issues with him? Because of the same thing. I said, that way people are going, Ojukwu went that way. They rubbished him. Look at Imo State. See what they did to him in Imo State. The same political process. You join, after a while, you vote. After voting, they declare whoever they like as their winner, and that's the end of the game. So I will never join any zoo politics. I will never stop fighting for Biafra. Listen to me very carefully. My father, my mother died as a result of this. I have lost men as a result of this. I have family members that I was close to have died. They did not die for one Nigeria. They did not die for Nigerian party politics. They died fighting for freedom. And that freedom we are going to get.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this program. Like and share. This evening we are going back to history. We are going to play some historical video that you will learn one or two things from. So I want you to pay attention to these videos that I'm about to play. We're going to play videos. You're going to hear from our eternal leader, Dame Odumegwu Ojukwu, and you will also hear from so many other videos that have been made in the past, taking you back to history. I want you this weekend to pay attention to history, because we must not forget history. You will know where you are coming from for you to know where you are going. It is very, very important. That is why we have to take you back to the lane, so that you can know where you are coming from. Because if you don't know where you are coming from, you will not know where you're going. So that's why we have to take you to that. We have to take you to that route, so that you can understand where we are coming from and where we are going. It is very important. So I want you to pay close attention to every single video we are going to play tonight. It is for a purpose. It is for a purpose. So as you are celebrating your weekend, just join us, pay attention, and get the message as it comes. We're going to start from Mazin Nandekano, and then we go to our eternal leader, Timothy Nwachukwu, the history of Biafran War, and so many other things. Let's listen.
What's that now? We're not fighting. We know what we're doing. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the revolution, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I am. Just from, if I'm dead, it's even better. So it's come far more quicker. I show you. If you ever started, for your property, if you're fighting alone, you're bound to lose it. So Biafra is the will become the 15th member country record. If Nigeria doesn't release those properties, then we can just because and we get them back. Even for the value. The Jews had investments all over the world. The priceless artifact and paintings belong to many families in Germany. It was stolen by the Nazi Party. You know that? With compensation on people. That's what we're going to do. Because our investments will come back. And we know we can get it from. So there is nothing anyone to worry about. If you are not stopping you from being a Nigerian, if you are born on the streets of Lagos, you want to be a Lagosian and your name is Adama. Oh, well, I'm good. No problem.
You can see that in this very video, Mazin Nandekano defined the direction that we are going, that we are taking today. That you are entitled to your opinion, you are free to choose where you want to belong. But as for the Biafran territory and the Biafra, it must come. And it must happen. It doesn't matter whether he's alive or he's not alive. You jail him or you didn't jail him, Biafra will come. And that is the situation today. Now, let us hear the message of our eternal leader, Timothy Nwachukwu, what he has to say, and also his own stance.
By others cannot reject himself. The ordinate ambition of the House of Fulani oligarchy to continue to dominate the whole of what was formerly the Federation of Nigeria, the unrealistic desire to acquire the wealth and resources of Biafra while rejecting their people, the mad and homicidal desire to exterminate from the face of the earth 14 million Biafrans drove Gawan and his clique towards unleashing a cosmic war to attain the unattainable, the subjugation of this young but promising republic. Even with the vast resources of the former Federation of Nigeria, with which to prosecute the war, even with the active collaboration of those international opportunists, Britain and the Soviet Union, an unholy alliance of vested interests, even with the attempt to subvert our government by suborning some of our highly placed military and civilian personnel, an attempt which was foiled at the nick of time, Gawan has failed to make good his boast to crush Biafra. A campaign which he bragged would only take 48 hours to accomplish has now dragged on for almost 5 months and will drag on for as long as it takes Gawan and his clique, both Nigerian and others, to realize that nothing can shake the will or crush the spirit of a determined people. If Gawan's military campaign has achieved anything, it is only a confirmation of the fact that Biafrans have nothing to expect but destruction from the hands of their erstwhile Nigerian compatriots. In the few border towns which fell into the hands of the Nigerian forces, Biafrans were pillaged and what could not be stolen was destroyed, while the men were shot and tortured and the women defiled. Even foreign correspondents have testified to the massive killings of people of Biafran origin and a particular ethnic grouping in the Republic of Benin when that young republic fell into the hands of the Nigerians as a result of treachery. Instead of accepting the fact and the truth which they know, that they forced the people of the former Eastern region out of the Federation, the Nigerian aggressors have been attempting to dupe the world by claiming that we seceded in order to keep our oil wealth to ourselves. You all know that in spite of our oil and other resources, the former Eastern Nigerians were always the greatest advocates of unity. General Ironsi, himself an Easterner, was murdered by the northern Nigerians because of his determination to unify the country. For a people who have made such great sacrifices and abandoned their most valuable investments in Nigeria in quest for safety, this is the unkindest thing to say. No, it is the Nigerian leaders themselves who are in fact guilty of what they accuse us of, and have shown beyond doubt that they are only interested in having our resources and not our people. Our detractors have also attempted to confuse African and indeed world opinion by propagating the despicable falsehood that our independence will be a precedent for separation in other African states. They have not bothered to ask themselves, for instance, what was the precedent for the alleged Biafran secession? The truth is that one secession does not necessarily lead to another. Throughout history, there has been a long list of empires that broke up into nations and federations which split into sovereign states. The Union of Great Britain and Ireland, the federations of Mali, Malaysia, West Indies, and Central Africa are recent examples of this. The disintegration occurred on account of unique local factors or to grave linguistic and religious differences. Biafra, however, remains a lesson to all countries of what could happen if they were to unleash a pogrom against a section of their own community. Amongst other spurious arguments trumped up by the Lagos clique is another that Nigeria is a single interdependent economic unit and that its disintegration would disrupt established market trends and leave the separate economies so much poorer. It is true that as between the regions of the former Nigerian Federation, the economic pattern was one of interdependence, but this is equally true of all world economies which are complementary. But this should not make us to try and force unworkable political units on an unwilling people merely to create a large market. It is enough for both states to enter into trade and technical agreements. With more efficient planning, these separate units could even be made economically more prosperous. This also disproves the argument that Nigeria would not be viable without Biafra. Perhaps Nigeria may be poorer for it, and it should have occurred to its leaders to be more tolerant of people who they now admit constituted their wealth. But the rest of Nigeria has enough potentiality to remain a great and united African state, if only its leaders would show realism and imagination in harnessing their vast potential resources. The Nigerian leaders demonstrated their scorn for African opinion, which they are now trying desperately to cultivate by refusing to accept our calls for a peaceful resolution of our conflict through the good offices of many African states. Even when they had reluctantly agreed to the Organization for African Unity's desire to mediate, they are taking steps to frustrate their efforts. Biafra is no longer asking for anyone's mediation, but is willing at all times, as in the past, to resolve this conflict with Lagos at the conference table. The Organization of African Unity has shown itself insensitive to our suffering and incapable of resolving the crisis. This so-called mediation, which presumes that there is only one side to a dispute and can go to every length to appease that side, cannot be expected to be fair, objective, and just. The present conflict can now be resolved by individual states taking initiative by recognizing our right to existence and urging on Nigeria to abandon her war of aggression against an injured people. Having failed on all scores, the Nigerians have raised the bogey of a minority in Biafra being forced into independence against their wish. This again is far from the truth. Our people, irrespective of their ethnic grouping, have shown conclusively their commitment to and support of the failure, they, along with their foreign megaphones like the BBC, thought that they could win by pretending to be doing so. They are trying to make the world believe that they have taken Enugu, that the war is virtually ended, and that they are now engaged in the task of reconstruction. Nothing is further from the truth. Our valiant forces have continued to keep the enemy at the few border towns and zones they have captured by treachery. The gallant Biafran forces.
The first country that gave recognition to Biafra was Tanzania. This was done on the 10th day of April 1968. At that time, Julius Nyerere was the president of Tanzania. This was Biafra's first recognition in 11 months since the commencement of hostilities, and the recognition meant so much to Ojukwu and to Biafra as a whole. So much of it was said on Radio Biafra and published in several newspapers across the continent. The statement of recognition was made public on behalf of the government of Tanzania by C.M. Gonja, then Tanzania's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. This recognition was followed by public statements made by President Julius Nyerere himself in his justification of the decision of his government to formally recognize Biafra as an independent state. He stated amongst others as follows, quote, "What right have we, in the name of unity, to refuse to recognize the fact of Biafra? For years, the people of that state struggled to maintain unity with the other people in the Federation of Nigeria, even and on the destiny of the African continent. Dr. Julius Nyerere received applause from Biafra, but the federal government of Nigeria was disappointed in Dr. Julius Nyerere and Tanzania for the endorsement of Biafra. Nigeria's military head of state, Yakubu Gowon, described the endorsement as ill-advised and reckless, and as his show of resentment, he immediately recalled Nigeria's ambassador to Tanzania and severed diplomatic ties with Tanzania. The war went on between Nigeria and Biafra, and for many months after the endorsement of Biafra by Tanzania, the war did not end, but Tanzania did not withdraw their situation. For this, we know that the situation that is prevalent in Biafra is similar to the one we know, with the only difference of the genocide of Biafra, which they don't want to recognize and accept as it is. So for this experience, the Nigerian government was displeased with President Omar Bongo, especially his choice of words, particularly his description of Nigeria as fraud. Nigeria took serious exception to it. Gabon went on to offer material support to the Biafran cause. When hunger became a serious killer in Biafra, Gabon allowed its airport in Libreville to serve as takeover landing point for aircraft that carried relief materials to Biafra. At that time, there was a blockade on the Nigerian airspace, and planes were not allowed to fly relief materials across the Nigerian airspace to Biafra. Recognition was made on the 14th day of May 1968. The recognition was made by the then president of the country, Victor Banjo was a Yoruba who served in the Nigerian army as a major before being imprisoned by General Ilonsi for allegedly plotting against him. The federal military government had underestimated Biafra from day one, but the Biafrans took advantage of this obvious mistake from the government and now have the war seemingly under control. This was quickly allowed to slip. In fact, the Biafran forces only got as far as Ore. Meanwhile, another unexpected turn of events had happened, unknown to everyone. The commander of the Biafran forces in the Midwest had turned traitor. Victor Banjo was a Yoruba who served in the Nigerian army as a major before being imprisoned by General Ilonsi for allegedly plotting against him. His prison was in the eastern region. From here, he was relieved by Colonel Ojukwu at the outbreak of the war and given a commission in the Biafran army. Why Ojukwu chooses Banjo to command the troops marching towards the west has not been fully explained. But the two soldiers were good friends, and Ojukwu had full confidence in his abilities. Second, being a Yoruba from western region, Banjo was familiar with the terrain and could use the language to convince the Yorubas in the occupied territories to support the war. With the rank of brigadier, Banjo commanded the 8th Brigade that marched into the Midwest and down to Ore. According to his own confession after he was unmasked and arrested, he had concluded after August 9 that he would enter into talks with the leaders of the West, notably Chief Awolowo. He asked Major to act as a mediator between himself and Awolowo, but Major declined to take the risk. According to Banjo, he would later relay messages using the sideband radio of British Deputy High Commission in Benin. A British official communicated these messages in German to another official in the High Commission in Lagos. The message was passed on to Chief Awolowo. The plot Banjo revealed was typically Yoruba in its complexity. It was to destroy Biafra by withdrawing troops from the Midwest under various pretexts, arrest and assassinate Ojukwu, and declare the war over. He would subsequently return to his own region as a Nigerian hero. His past would now be forgiven and forgotten. He went on to say that the second part of the plan, which will be revealed later, was for him and Awolowo to rally the newly recruited Yoruba army to his cause and topple the one. This would allow him to take over the presidency of Nigeria and give Awolowo his long-desired premiership. It seems unlikely, though, that the Gowon government was informed of this postscript. Colonel Ifeajuna, who had also been released from prison, a Moscow-trained communist officer, Major Philip Alele, the Biafran Foreign Service official Sam Agbam, who did some of the negotiation between the two sides while out of Biafra, and several other junior officers and functionaries were all recruited into Banjo's plot. He was ready to execute this plot by mid-September. Despite being frustrated by the lack of action in the West, Colonel Ojukwu continued to believe Banjo and accept his claims of administrative issues, manpower shortages, lack of firearms and ammunition, and so on. True, the Nigerians had grown stronger in the 3 weeks that has passed. The Nigerians had formed two fresh brigades through a hasty 1-week recruitment campaign that brought into uniform diverse elements such as college students and prison inmates.
This was the second division that was commanded by Colonel Murtala Mohammed. The division fought back from the Western region. As late as the first week of September, the deployment of swift motorized column could have put the Biafrans in a commanding position in the Western region. But on September 12, Banjo gave orders to withdraw from Benin City without firing a shot. He was not authorized to do so. Mohammed didn't arrive in Benin until September 21st. Banjo also issued orders to withdraw from Warri, Sapele, Auchi, Igwebe, and other strategic locations. Biafran's subordinate officers were surprised and confused, but they did as they were told. Simultaneously, Biafran defenses south of Nsukka crumbled, and the federal forces advanced many miles down the road to Enugu, 45 miles south of Nsukka. At this point, Banjo decided to attack Ojukwu directly. In the Midwest, he met with Ife Ajuna and Alele to finalize the plans for the assassination, which was to take place on September 19, coinciding with Banjo's presence in Enugu, where he had been asked to explain what he was doing in the Midwest. None of the three seemed to realize that time had run out. Surprisingly, he had told several other officers and civilians about the plans, without first checking to see if they would remain faithful to Ojukwu. In fact, most of them did, but some had already gone to meet him with the details of the plot. It took a lot of persuasion to convince him, but the facts were beginning to speak for themselves. Ife Ajuna and Alele were each summoned to State House, where Ojukwu led them and ordered their arrest. Banjo was summoned as well, but he arrived with a strong escort of men who he wanted to bring into the premises. He was convinced that he could remain at the entrance until he returned. While he went in alone, but armed, he agreed. Colonel Ojukwu's police ADC, a clever young inspector, went out to the guard post with a bottle of gin while he was waiting in the anteroom. He offered them to come to his place nearby to enjoy some more after passing it around. They all agreed and marched off. Watchers inside State House observed their departure and then swung their automatic weapons at Banjo. He was disarmed before being led to see the Biafran leader. It was 6 hours to the time Colonel Ojukwu should have been assassinated, being close to midnight on September 18. The army became traumatized and demoralized. Even though the ordinary soldier remained loyal to Ojukwu, the entire officer corps was discredited. Although known by his friendship with Banjo and a relation by marriage to Alele, Ojukwu had to set an example to avoid a repeat of this kind of plot. The foreign leaders were tried by special tribunal, sentenced to death for high treason, and executed by firing squad on September 22, 1967. The exact degree of complicity of some of the British officials in Nigeria remained a matter of speculation in Biafra. In his confession, though, Banjo implicated the British deputy in Lagos later remarked they had noticed a sudden buoyancy among British officials in the middle of September, a confident assurance that it will all be over in a few days. This was in stark contrast to the near panic of 20th August and a prophecy hardly merited by the militaries. But after the attempted coup against Ojukwu, things actually changed. The damage in Biafra was enormous. We'll look at what happened from now on in our subsequent video. You'll be doing us a massive favor by liking this video so that more people can see it. Subscribe if you have not done so, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.
In defense of my honor, and with due deference to those concerned.
In 1949, a company belonging to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and his family bought a bank in Lagos. The bank was bought with the intention to have a bank controlled by a black Nigerian, which will serve the interest of other Nigerians. Because then, banks were owned and controlled by the British. So Azikiwe desired to have a bank that Africans can call their own, which would break the British banking monopoly in Nigeria. The name of the bank then was African Continental Bank. However, After some years, a report about transactions carried out by the bank saved the bank from collapse. Corruption did not start from there. In fact, let's start from the beginning. Before Nnamdi Azikiwe's corruption case, in 1943, Sir Ahmad Bello was sentenced to 1 year in prison by the Sultan of Sokoto's court for misappropriating cattle tax which he collected from cattle owners in coastal region in present-day Zamfara state, where he was the councillor. However, he spent only 3 months in jail as he appealed the sentence in a higher court, stating his innocence. The court later granted him freedom. Few years after independence, in 1962, Chief Obafemi Awolowo was found guilty by a commission of inquiry known contract to Mr. John when Mr. Bell received the payment from the government or organization that awarded the contract. That was how the British introduced the first phase of corruption in Nigeria. This process of awarding contracts by government officials and private organizations still persists till date in Nigeria. The third chapters of corruption happened when large sums of money suddenly disappeared from the accounts of government agencies, commissions, and parastatals. It happened between 1976 and 1979. The Nigerian oil sector lost $2.8 billion. Muhammadu Buhari was the federal commissioner for petroleum and natural resources. It happened. Again, during the Gulf War, the said Nigerian oil sector lost $12.4 billion under General Ibrahim Babangida's regime. These huge sums of money were not accounted for by both administrations. A recent attempt through a lawsuit by a civil society group to bring Babangida to account for the money which got missing under his watch was struck out by a federal high court in Abuja. Additionally, the fourth origin of corruption in Nigeria was done through a decree called the Land Use Decree, which is today known as the Land Use Act. How did it happen? For instance, there was a federal government program called
exposition about Hope Uzodinma. Why are you not making it go viral? Hope Uzodinma was a hardened criminal. He was an armed robber. He killed people during armed robbery, and the last armed robbery attack, when he got arrested with his gang, he was facing firing squad. I am going to tell you a brief history again today, and I am expecting the people from Imo State. I told you people that I want people from 50 years up to come up with more information, and of course, I will be releasing it little by little. So, Hope Uzodinma was an armed robber. Who faced, who was on death row in Imo State. And let me tell you the story. The people, during the time when Hope Uzodinma was to be executed by firing squad, it was during Buhari regime. During Buhari regime, Uzodinma during Buhari regime was an armed robber. He killed people. He killed his victim. And during that time, how they execute people in Nigeria was that it does not matter anywhere the crime was committed. It does not matter where you commit the crime. When they want to execute you, they bring you to a community. When they want to kill you, they bring you to a community to execute you. I want people to recollect and recall this particular history. Hope Uzodinma was facing firing squad. He was brought to his community to be executed. Are you aware of that? During Buhari regime, Hope Uzodinma was brought to his community to be executed by firing squad. It was the Ezemo and the Igwe of the community that came and intervened. They intervened, claiming that if Hope nobody that in their land, if the blood of their indigene cannot be spilled in their land, that it will bring doom to the entire community. And that was how the king, the Eze Umume, I want you people, those of you who come from Imo State where Hope Uzodinma come from, I want you to go and ask questions. What I'm telling you now, go and ask questions. Go and ask the Eze. Go and ask about the Eze Umuma. The Eze Umuma. The Eze Umuma during Buhari regime. Because we are going to dig this thing out. We are going to dig it until we dig everything out to the open. That's how we do. I want those of you who come from where Hope Uzodinma come from to go and make your finding. In 1984, 82, 83, during Buhari regime, I want you to go and ask your mother's question, who was the Eze in your Hope Uzodinma's community? Hope Uzodinma's community. Eze Umuma, and there is somebody that is the chief priest in that community. When they brought Hope Uzodinma, when they brought him to be executed by firing squad for armed robbery, not just ordinary armed robbery, he was killing his victim. So when they brought him to the community to be executed, the Eze or Eze Umuma in 1984, 1983, go and ask, we need to dig everything out. They came out with their priest, with their chief priest of that community, that village. They say there is something, there is date or the oracle, because in those days, oracle is very strong, not like all these adulterated oracles. So they came and the Eze said that no blood of their indigene shall be spilled on their land. That it is going to bring sacrilege, it's going to be sacrilege, it's going to bring doom to them. So the Buhari administration then, they took Hope Uzodinma away. So, to go and kill him somewhere else. So that not to pollute the land. Now, Little did these people, where Hope Uzodinma come from, they didn't know that Hope Uzodinma later was not killed. They didn't know that he was not killed. It was from there he ran to Lagos to join 419, continue his criminal activities. Now, the next thing Hope Uzodinma did was to come back during when he contested for Senate. The time he contested for Senate, he came back, he contested for Senate, he came back. I am also challenging the people in Imo State in his constituency. Immediately Hope Uzodinma came back, the opponent, the person that he contested the senatorial districts against, his opponent brought the issue of Hope Uzodinma being an armed robber. You know what happened? Hope Uzodinma assassinated him. This is why we say Nigeria breed criminals. And there is no way Hope Uzodinma can be a governor in Biafra land and you see peace and tranquility. It can never happen. The land of Biafra is fighting, and that's why there are chaos in Imo State. And it left for the elders in Imo State to rise up because Hope Uzodinma has spilled the blood of their own people in Imo State. And the land of Biafra is against everything that Hope Uzodinma does. So all the chief priests in Biafra land, all the chief priests in Imo State, I challenge you people to go and consult the oracle and go to war. The only way to restore peace in Imo State and by extension in Biafra land is to chase Hope Uzodinma out of Biafra land because the sacrilege he committed is following him and it is going to follow Imo State.
To prepare to rebel events. So in the coming weeks and months, men and women are going to die. But after that, Biafra shall be restored. China are going to sell weapons to Nigeria. They have also signed an agreement to supply Nigeria with weapons. The Nigerian government recruited 3 hardened terror groups to fight this very battlefront. Al-Shabaab, they are in and around Lagos and Yoruba land. They are the ones to lead the attack against Yoruba. The main strike force of Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, they are advancing through Benue. They will enter into Kogi. From there, they will come into Anambra and they do. Whereas the main Boko Haram front, either by this same company, they are coming from the but they are based in Bakuchi, they come from Bakuchi. That's where the armor, that is where the tanks are, and we have to give them. Because I promised them the oil and gas in Biafra land, and that Allah gave Nigeria to Fulani. The Fulanis have come to take over our land, and we have said to them that they are not going to do it. We are not going to allow them to do it, not now, not tomorrow, not ever. And the sooner they understand this, the better for everybody. Because one thing that the Janjaweed must bear in mind is this, is that this
on this day, we gather round to honor the heroes as they be forgot by Biafra's soldiers.
to all Biafrans worldwide, from the Idoma to the Idede, the Igala to the Ogoni, the Ijo to Anan, Oro to the Ekit, the Ikwere to the Igbo, and all Biafrans, mark your calendar. The historic moment is upon us. On Friday, May 30th, 2025, the United
and even the woman, when I think about your city, Babaka. The never until my screen alone, therefore, ever my good name, about very sure, Anambra State. When they gave my investigation, I went out that now. The money notice what they were not about to go down. What I cannot leave that house, I will not get. When we look one about the house, that you are like you. So even as open and evil working. Can Calicia, can no talk.
When I go to Naju, Governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, who won the Anambra. When I didn't be the lead when I could not. Can you believe it? Our name was another tax. So the business, they did no business moving, they did no business. Even who what do you have about Alabama and Castan? Now I read. I wouldn't even innocent. Notice that they can let go about what do you make a half of this later? What I need them maybe now over 20 something there. Umoto, another state, Anna, a supply. That even the people believe in the celebrity. So, you believe in the celebrity, no way, no way, hidden agenda, you believe in the celebrity. Then give a business and money. Supplier, arrange it to get them supply, another state, you go to it to the another state, you go. Give me that could you believe in the celebrity. So, I don't know where like 2,000 to 3,000 workers because of your family, they shut down. All those people get a benefit from this company. All the families need benefit from that. Reason they need the paper, but you want to create a working way. Now, don't have a then get someone will never stay. Someone will tell you, who change slab. I don't know that they will use that slab and walk away. Manage to land, I mean, economy, economize them. What is your way? What the code your business and not the more people. Can you read the Alabama where the person is in Gita? I'm going to keep a tronosis. You did very hard. Because I'm the Muto do look at you. No, I need the affordable. Why that now? The person teaching well legal and the people teaching Anambra State. The people be that while people be going say the motive is in this week. That's the motive is in the family. So no one motive is in Goya or Belgo. I said, no problem. And you went ahead and protest. We'll go the motive. Then we'll go see the motive. Give me that. Unless you follow the same footstep. If you get another state to get the head of motor is in the every year. I know about you. We'll get Chinese for line. Nigeria and Africa is concerned. Rather than the Jews. Any chance in your even the Chinese are calling the Chinese. Go to Abia State to go to power line. If people are around. Need other value their own. Our is here before the see make sure that can happen to business because of one thing or the other. Personal deal, you buy a deal from them. And now $1,000. When I give you so you know, can you buy no cinema and you do an apple? And you go there. You don't know Lagos. I want to be going on a Lagos State. I'm going to be going on a Lagos State. When I say factory, I'm confident. But when you are laughing and get us here, see what the business I do. Then you also know I am. That the only Roman or William Sunday agreed that only one will be here. Fire never you and another sort of scripture. Therefore, that yes, I said, who be what I you didn't know. Or 4 years, I cannot be born Nigeria, or 4 years, now look Nigeria, one people. More than employment. Everybody at the neighbor said, who that is now that no 300 workers. When you go and that patronize here, so that another terrorist get increased to like 2,000 because of getting because more order I $10. Then when you say $10, more that who do not talk what they not say? God they can make this and range. Make this and range, you know, go over 100 and something years. And so many people keep on patronizing them. That's why they are getting better day by day. You know, nothing was in the way get yet that I will declare justice. Even with the you people never represent. We China look at our weapon today. In China, we will be happy to look at Amara. When we are go for the same Bamba Patana, with the China, nobody else. When I get that, they're getting Papa. Umuro will look at the China, had a room bagger. Fendi, Gusi, Nandotia. When the Chinese put online, some of them there no most of them patronize them with $1 or $2. A blue motor over 2.something billion. You know what put them look at it to the movie. You know the British clean. You know the movie there. For the very first time in living memory, the Southern governors met in Ahaba. The real name is Ahaba, A-H-A-B-A, not Asaba. They met in Ahaba under the auspices of governors of Southern Nigeria. This is the first time I don't know if they've done that before. If they have met, please try and enlighten me. I'm not sure they have done that before. I know why did they meet? Because of the raging agitation in Biafra land and also in Duduala. That was why they met. For people, there are some people that will be saying, oh, what? I'm sure that nobody is even talking about what have they achieved, what have they done. But I just want to remind you, should anybody ask you tomorrow morning what you have contributed towards the advancement of the betterment of the lives of the people on the ground, you say to them, courtesy of what I have been doing, the Southern governors have now met for the very first time. And I don't know if some of you read the article in Guardian earlier today. Guardian is even carried it. Do you know that there was a particular governor from so-called South that did not want to come? Do you know that Fulani Janjaweed gave one particular governor, Bob, listening device, to enter to the meeting? And I'm sure that people have guessed right, you know who that very individual is. Darling Mrs. Anyway, but love is good. We'll get to that later on. He's in love. You know when you're in love with somebody, there's nothing wrong for that person. You know how love moves people. He is so in love with his new partner, his new spouse, the new husband, that they gave him listening device, a Bob. That while gave him a listening device to smuggle into the meeting. So that the Fulani Janjaweed will be somewhere in Kaduna, in Abuja, and in Sokoto listening to the meeting. Because of love. And who can blame him? Hey, love one thing. You know, love is very deep. Mrs. Tambuwal wanted to smuggle a listening device. If you about Nsabu School, Nsabu School was a revolution against your incompetence and on your unbridled tribalism. I said it before, maybe some people did not hear me very well. Nsabu School was a revolution. I don't support it. I don't think that you should have gone on to kill those morons from the north that he killed. So I've left them, allowing their own people to tear them to pieces. A popular revolution. Not by way of a coup. I don't believe in coups, I don't believe in it. It was this Janjaweed who brought imbalance and injustice, unfairness into Nigeria's governance with the help of the United Kingdom. Because they see you as their slaves, you are still a colony. You are still niggers to them. After all, that was what they meant to Nigeria. Nigger area. People who are niggers occupying a nigger area. That's your name, Nigeria. End of Nigeria. If you don't know. If we call it Nigeria, it sounds a bit sweet. It sounds a bit okay. Nigger area. That's you're a nigger. That's your name. French, they call it Niger. Black people in this youth. Lord have mercy upon your souls. It was the Janjaweed that brought all this capital to the zoo. And we are going to fight them every inch of the way. Whatever it was. Not 1 inch. And Omahi, Miyetiana, if you are in any forest in Biafra land, you are gone. We'll meet you there, you die. Leave our forest alone. The same people that said no to ban open grazing, have they been able to enforce it? It is actually ESL that is enforcing the ban on open grazing. That is why no cattle should be seen in our forest. We don't want to go there. Because it is a plan by the Fulani Janjaweed to make our life an absolute misery.
I want to talk to my own fellow Biafrans, those in Bayelsa State. You know, I'm sure by tomorrow now, DSS will give you some money. Maybe, I don't know if it's, I think now what they give is, I don't know if it's 400,000 naira for you to get a group of people, share you 400,000 naira to present your face as maybe one group or solidarity advocacy group of Bayelsa. I want to ask Edwin Clark this very evening. He's an old man, so he knows. He was a traitor, a frontline traitor in the war. All of you that betrayed Biafra, where are you today? Edwin Clark, I'm asking you, where are you today? And I don't want to talk about your money. The man that they removed, none of you did anything about it. But you're from the so-called South, or Niger Delta, or South, or South. I don't know where the South will stop. Because in geography, there's nothing, no cardinal point is South. I want to ask you this again. There is a man called Moses Jitobo from Bayelsa State. He was meant to be the next IG of police. He's man, the one who's supposed to be there now. 2 months ago, when the tenure was over, they played the game and prolonged his tenure to another 3 months. He came to talk rubbish in the way they sacked him. This man called, he's a young man, because I'm older than him, he's only 53 years old. He should have been the IG of police. His name is Moses Jitobo from Bayelsa State. They retired him at the age of 52 instead of making him the IG of police. And now what they did, they went for a 57-year-old northern Fulani Muslim to make him the acting IG of police. And I have not heard anybody crying from Bayelsa of marginalization. I have not heard any of them come to lament or protest about domination. The oil in our land, the oil that you have in the land of Bayelsa, 80% of it belongs to the north. The other 19.5% belongs to Yoruba. Only 0.5% belongs to one or two people or from the east. Nobody is dominating you. Do you see how clever the Fulanis are, how they play this very game? Fulani, they don't have any issues. All they need to do is to get you hating yourselves. That is all they need to do. Very clever, very brilliant tactics, I'm telling you. Very, very brilliant. All they need to do is to get you to hate yourselves. That is all they need to do. And then they relax and they enjoy the fallout. It was the stupidity of the likes of Edwin Clark that made it possible for them to dismiss Onogen. He wasn't the Chief Justice for long. They made it possible for this man, this young man, Moses Jitobo, to be disgraced out of Abuja at the age of 52. You know, I keep telling them, treachery never pays. DSS will come to us, everybody, you're not Igbo, you're alone. I accept independence. Because they know that alone you cannot fight them. You think you're stupid? It's a simple case of divide and rule. They know if you're. Look at Ogo, they keep asking every day. Have they claimed the land of Ogo? Have they gotten their independence? Have they. Has life improved in Ogo land? The answer is no. But the Fulani will encourage you to assert your Ogoni identity over Biafra. You're not Biafra. Biafra is what binds all of us together. And with the name Biafra, we can fight and be free. All of us. But they tell you, don't support Biafra. You're Ogoni. You are a job. But our brother has been sacked. What did you do? Because you are too small to confront the might of Fulani Janjaweedism. You are too small. You cannot. Only in Biafra can we confront them. Do you understand what I'm saying? That was why I remember the DSS director, again also from Bayelsa, and they removed. They sacked him. They sacked him. They sacked him. And that oil you're fighting for, what's it called again? Resource control. You can never get it.
You can never get it. From night that you don't come, you can't. Do you know why? Because they cleverly carved you out of Biafra. Once you're out of Biafra, everything you're asking for, everything you're agitating for, you can never get. But as one, we are unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Ask yourself this question. Why is it that the gentlemen are concerned with you, some of you in the East, politicians taking over and floating your own security outfit by state, when they have a greater problem in the North? Some of you, I have preached this thing before, but some of you don't listen. Britain knows what I'm saying. Obasanjo, who is their slave, understands what I'm saying. Every intelligence agency in the world understands what I'm saying. Who created ISIS in West Africa province? They only, I think it was yesterday that they released the video of Saturday's attack on Damasak. Do you know why they keep attacking Bruno all the time? Some of you don't know this, do you? You have no idea. It is how the Fulanis behave. They are attacking Bruno because Bruno never fell to Fulani Caliphate. And there was a strategy that I learned from the show of Bruno that fought the Fulani when they were coming. Anywhere they gather, the Sheikh of Bruno, the Sheikh never allowed the Fulani to attack his kingdom. Never. The paramount ruler of Bruno, his title is the Sheikh of Bruno, not Emir of Bruno, Sheikh of Bruno. It's only now that the Fulanis are forcibly creating their emirates all over the place. And that's part of the world. For Bruno never fell. The Ghanaian Bruno Empire never fell. They are not Fulani. Medugri is not Fulani. Bruno is not Fulani. They are Ghanaian Bruno people. Very old as well. They fought against the Fulani by attacking every Fulani formation. Every Fulani army sent to attack them, to conquer them, to defeat them. And you know, people don't know this. The people leading the charge were actually Fulanis, but the few soldiers were Hausa people. The same way it is today. That is why every Fulani terror group is focusing on Bruno. They want Bruno to fall to them. That is something that you would not know. You know when I say, oh, we Northerners, that is the trick they play on some of you. Some people say, we Northerners. And that Northerners that are mentioning includes Igbo people in Benue State. That is the joke of the state. We Northerners, they like attacking Bruno. ISIS in West Africa released the video of Saturday's attack on Damasak. I have not heard people say, oh, there is everything, Bruno, do something. Let's do this. Innocent people will be released from the prison in no way. Everywhere, hey, even governors group, everybody, our life is security everywhere. But in Bron is being ravaged on all sides, from all sides by Fulani gentlemen, from every angle. Bron is in trouble. Are you not aware of that? But they're focusing on it. They released their video. The reason why I'm mentioning this is this. I want to let you understand something you don't know. It was Buhari when he was alive that created ISIS in West Africa. Buhari created ISIS. You know, they thought they were being very clever. You know, DSS in Nigeria. All they know in life, they think if we divide them, if we get somebody, open the name of report or somebody like that, or some bad one to rival ESN, somehow they will succeed. That is how they are. That is their mindset. It's full of a janjaweed. That is the way they reason. Replicate everything IPOB is doing. That is why even I think Facebook has shut down. They have shut down without protest. God. Isn't it very funny that Facebook has shut down my live broadcast this evening? But the same Facebook will allow multiple fake accounts run by DSS to be opened up in my name. Multiple fake massive number account everywhere. They won't do anything. that one that they know that people identify me with, they want to shut it down. Let us try that. I want to try that once again. You know, they're very foolish. And funny enough, these are Yoruba young people. They go to, you know, black people. If you want to conquer us, you use us to conquer ourselves. That's the way it is. I think they're doing their job, earning their pay, but they're enslaving themselves. The more they do this, the more the Fulanis take over their forest. The more Fulani people are in their forest taking each other. They don't understand that what goes around comes around. We are live and we are direct. They may have shut it down, but I don't know. There are 4 people now watching. From 4,000 to 4, we've not gone up to maybe 24 people watching. Then we must preach the gospel of heaven. We must preach this very gospel here. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the unethical conduct of Facebook by removing my broadcast this evening. ISIS in West Africa was created by the late dead Muhammadu Buhari before our eyes in 2016. Buhari called Boko Haram his brothers. Buhari then, when he was alive, not this idiot you're seeing now, the original Buhari is dead and buried in the shadow of his other baby. When he was alive, he called Boko Haram his brothers. He turned around and said that any attack against Boko Haram is an attack against the North. Understand this very clearly, please. When he became the president of the zoo, having used Boko Haram to displace Jonathan's administration, he called them for a roundtable meeting. They took his money. That's number one. And they told him they would stop, but they continued to attack Muslims that they felt were opposites, people who did not believe in their own vision or brand of Islam. Do you know what happened? Buhari now went out to go and get the son of Yusuf Mohammed, the founder of Boko Haram. His name is Al-Banawi. I've preached this many times, but because zoo people are hard at it, you know, they are there for dumb sometimes. It's very, very idiotic. Allow me to repeat. Buhari went and recruited Al-Banawi, his son. He was a commander in Boko Haram under Chicago. They caught him and brought him to a court in Abuja. Unfortunately for them, I was in court the same day, in the same court of Tozun, when they brought him to court. He was laughing and smiling, no handcuffs, no chains. But we, fighting for freedom, we came to court with handcuffs and chains. After a while, I think it was in Tagago's court, they released him. Buhari gave the order that he should be released. He should not be arrested. Al-Banawi was released and given the task of only attacking the army and the police and Christian worship centers. Buhari was upset that Boko Haram abandoned the plan that they reached, and they are now attacking Muslims as well, bombing mosques. He was very, very upset. He now got the son of Muhammad Yusuf that Nigeria police killed to head ISIS in West Africa. Because the late dead Buhari was a very big fan of ISIS. He was a fundamentalist. He was one of those, Wahhabi, should I say, distorted view of Islam. His sect was Wahhabi. He was a very strong believer in the Wahhabi tendencies. He wanted to conquer the whole of Nigeria for Islam. But some of you are too foolish to understand. That is why they have concentration of power in the north. That is why they want to run the zoo called Nigeria as a police state. That is why they can do anything and get away with it. Anything, somebody can do anything, including coming to your village. They can go to your village tonight and massacre all of you and nothing happen. Buhari called this little boy called Al-Banawi and asked him to head ISIS to do for him what Shekau refused to do. Today, or should I say on Saturday, they attacked and sacked the village in Damasak. He was in custody. Not to say, well, no, he was released. Go to the court records in Abuja, you will see it there.
That is why there is a unrepentant idiots. And that is why the zoo must fall. The zoo must fall. You are in a country where people are telling you that Chad, a separate sovereign nation, should benefit from Nigeria. They brought in their name, national identification, whatever rubbish. 4 million Chadians have name right now as we speak. They want to unite the Fulani people together, whereas in the East, only in the East, division everywhere to the governors that they impose upon all of you. None of these governors can go back, go to the quiet of their bedroom and ask themselves, this thing I'm doing, is it right? How come I am here persecuting my own people? And sometimes I want Wike to be able to listen. How come I'm here persecuting my own people? Whereas in the north, they are uniting the Fulani people, even those who are killing, pillaging, raping, and murdering others. They never listen, they never think. That is why they are in the mess they are in today. That is why there can never ever be any forgiveness. The Fulani, when they came into power, they told you, we are here to fight corruption. We must fight corruption, as they call it. Some of you were taken by it. Some of you we are so foolish, you even believe them. But I know who they are. I know that Buhari is one of the most corrupt people in the world. The wife is corrupt. Aisha Buhari is wanted in the USA for corruption. She was implicated in the Halliburton bribery scandal. Aisha Buhari cannot travel to the USA. But you call the late dead husband the saint. But the wife is a criminal. The husband is like, come on, you push it to wake up and smell the flaggy not coffee this time around. I just want to point out how foolish your average Nigerian is. How idiotic they are. I am asking you a question. Why is it that Aisha cannot travel? Because the Fulani are corrupt. Even Lugan captured it in his report. That the Fulani are very lazy and corrupt. He said it. They just want to have a good time. Like go to Dubai. They always prefer to go to places that have been finished by other people. They go to Dubai, they have fun. They go to England, they buy houses. That's what they go to US. They make that now, of course. Trump banned all of them. They can no longer go there. Only if the new US president will allow them to go in. Why am I saying what I'm saying? Because the Fulanis have stolen money again. They steal money every day. They have their ruling classes, the Abakiaris of this world, their families, making your life a misery. And you are from the south. Every blessed day, what Nigeria? Our country, Nigeria. Fulani is busy making you cry, and you are foolishly shouting on Nigeria because you're fool, a complete idiot. What did they do? We have been writing to the Accountant General and Ministry of Defense, asking them to refund the money that they took from us. How much did they take? 7.5 billion secret withdrawals. Even the Senate of the Zoo summoned the Finance Minister and the HF and ask yourself this question. Why is it that nothing will happen? Because there is an inbuilt Fulani majority in both houses. Common sense. I want the stupid governors in the East to understand the way that the Fulani is. They were even paid, they kidnapped somebody. So Fulani people received in our land 10 million to release him. And the governor, in Anambra, the governor is fighting IPOB and ESN. Do you see? Anyway, I give kudos to, well done, Fulani. You did a very good job in dividing our people and making us appear very foolish. Let me go back to this. Let me leave the idiocy of Obia not to follow him. Let me go back to this thing. That the Fulanis are the most corrupt people in Nigeria. Some of you, I don't know how you allow yourselves to be deceived. I think Tinubu used Yoruba media might to deceive all of you.
in the hope that in 2023 he will become president of the zoo. Now let me read this from. This is news of the zoo, by the way. Zoo called Nigeria. Senate Committee on Public Accounts has summoned the Minister of Finance, Ahmed Zainab. That's the side chick of Mabakari before he died. Ahmed Zainab. And the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, Finance Minister, Accountant General, both Fulani, over the secret withdrawal of 7.5 billion from the 2% National Automotive Design and Development Council levy account domiciled in the central bank. In other words, in Nigeria, the only place in the world where an idiot can work in the central bank because they want the coward they put there. I said, give me 7.5. She said, oh, yes, here you are. We drew 7.5 billion naira in cash. Follow me. That's how they steal. You know, in the East, they go for security vote of 200 million a year. Fulani go to the central bank and collect cash. 7.5 billion cash, raw cash. According to the Senate, the report indicated that the first 3.8 billion was withdrawn in 2 installments. In other words, all the facts and figures are there. 2.8 billion in 2005 and 2015, and 1 billion 2016. Are you following? Contained in a report. They are asking them, where is the money? These are the people that was holding on this network for 250 million naira. Not even the price of that, not even up to the amount that Aisha spent for these few months that she ran away to Dubai with her boyfriend, with her lover. Fulani stole 7.5 billion. 2 people. Fulani Finance Minister, Fulani Accountant General, and the one Nigeria, where there is a federal character. Lord have mercy upon you. Lord have mercy upon you. This is why we want to go. I want Britain to understand that this is the reason why Biafra must stand. And this is the reason why we must stop it. Not only are they stealing our money, they control almost with their Tinubu counterpart 95.5% of the oil in our land. They go to central bank and they steal money from us. They are building their way for their relatives in the Nigeria Republic. And you're telling me to be in such a country? Then you must be demented. And on that note, or should I say, before we close actually, call to boys in Ubosi and the Bunike, those that went to Mbuko, but you can't arrest them. From tonight, you disband. You are disbanded tonight. No copy me again. If I see anybody belonging to any cult from tomorrow, we'll go and start the story from the beginning, please. Tell them what you did, because you'll be dealt with. We have come to the end of our program this evening. I will be back on live on air tomorrow morning, taking your questions. I will be live 7 a.m. Biafra land time tomorrow, taking your questions live and answering them. The most difficult questions. Don't call me to greet me. I don't need your greeting. Ask me the most difficult question. I will answer them regarding what we are doing to restore Biafra in our town. I thank you once again very much for listening. If you're in a cult, throw away whatever bad or jam or any piece of rubbish you have. Go and look for where Fulani people are and meet them, confront them. Not only you're sure in the village like an Igbo governor that cannot confront the counterparts in the north, but is in the village making life a misery for us. Go and fight the Fulani and stop making a mockery of your idiotic existence. From me, from here, good evening.
Again, every time Nigeria is ringing bell. If I look on news, it is bell. If I look social media, it is problem. When I should be drinking coffee, they will make me to come online. They don't want to have me to rest. But you know what? You know what? The spirit in me, the Biafra spirit in me, I said, when I told you, if Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is looking for 100 people, I promise that I have 50 in me. You have not seen anything. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. But, you know, as my own oru, I am a rocha. You understand? Till Biafra come. But today you are going to receive sense. The crypto, Nigeria crypto. As they are crippling your economy, they close border. They closed the border. ESN came out automatically, you know, weaponized. It shocked them. It shocked them. They said, this border no work. Oh. This close of border no work. Oh. Now, how do we stop the funding now of this Sunday or Igbo? How do we stop the contribution? Let us stop the crypto. Because they were following Nigerians, southern Nigerians. Use crypto. We should open crypto. Use crypto. Don't use the Western Union. Don't use this. They say, so these people are doing crypto. Okay, let us slash them. Bah. They are not considering the economic impact of crypto. No. They are not considering how much the crypto is bringing to Nigeria economy. Their agenda is not to make Nigeria progress. No. They have a better agenda. Now you get the point. Now you get the point. My only problem is that why is it that you must wait? Was Thomas born in Nigeria? Is Thomas a Nigerian? Is Thomas in the Bible in Nigeria? Are you a lineage of Thomas? Are you a lineage of Thomas? All of you have Thomas blood in your vein. How did you get Thomas blood in your vein? That it must happen to you first before you understand. We hear more in Anopia. You hear more kind of woo. When we are telling you, you don't know, no, we are telling you, even we are not prophets, but everything we have said, everything we open this mouth to say, if it don't happen today, it will happen tomorrow. I want you to go from the beginning of this struggle, from the beginning. In fact, even the one that we are not sure of, once God asks us to say it, we will say it and God will do it. Hey! I said, did you see the prayer? May God harden the heart of the leaders in Nigeria so that we will tell them, the world may know that Obi is no longer a boy. I remember when we used to read the history of the Greeks, the Greek gods. I don't know, you know, of course you don't read all those things in Africa. The history of the Greek gods. Medusa, they say Medusa is she look at when you look at Medusa, you turn into she would dry you and you become stone. Medusa have snake, you know, her hair. Medusa's hair is snake. Because of the power in Medusa, Medusa went very deep